viewers, you are welcome to another segment entirely on Daybreak Africa. Today, we'll be trashing out issues on causes of building collapse in our country, Nigeria. And today, we have with us an expert, a stakeholder, who will be having a discussion with us on how we can get all these problems solved. And the person is no other one than surveyor Olariwaju Fulani, is the chairman Ondo State Institution of First State Surveyor and Valuers. You are welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Yes, sir. Of course, you are the chairman in Ondo State.
Yes.
How have you been able to cope with your fellow men and women in the profession?
We are professional colleagues. We regard ourselves as family, as the same family. So we do things together. So that's how I've been able to cope with them.
Beautiful. Because we realize that human beings sometimes we are too difficult to control. Okay, that's good. Sir, we want to go now into this very burning issue. That is the issue of building collapse. Of course, one happened recently in Lagos.
Yes.
And we know, unless if you just want to hide the issue under the carpet, that there are a lot of building collapse happening here and there in our streets, in our community, in our state, even in the country, that people are not really aware sometimes. Okay, let's come to this issue first, that why is it necessary to have a surveyor around us while building?
Well, we have other professional colleagues in that build environment. We have the quantity surveyor, we have the architects, we have the engineers, we have land surveyor and estate surveyor and so on like that. We are about 5 or 6. So all of us contribute together in the construction industry. But it is necessary to have us because we coordinate the activities of other professionals in that field.
Okay, fine. Come to think of it, if I may get you right, that is the number of people you've just mentioned now, running to about 5
professionals. Yes.
What of if I'm to build my bungalow, 2-bedroom flat?
Yes.
Will I have to call on these people? Will my money not go with it?
It is necessary. It is necessary. That is one of the causes of building collapse in Nigeria. You first of all do the survey. The survey will show whether the land can carry the substructure. Then the town planners will do the planning for you so that they will tell you the number of story building you can build on the land. Then you get approval. Then you look for somebody who will help to supervise the structure so that they can comply with all the law and building codes. So it doesn't cost much. These are the processes that are necessary for every one of us to follow instead of losing at the end of the day.
Okay, fine, good. We want to get from your wealth of experience. I still want to go back a little again that this issue of building, getting experts, getting surveyors, we are all aware of the fact that most of the buildings are coming up in our various areas these days. The owner of the land, the owner of the building will be the one to supervise it, will be the one to call on the bricklayer, be the one to call on this and that to do it without calling on experts. And at the end of the day, we'll see the structure very strong and beautiful.
Well, it may look, aesthetically, it may look good, but when you observe, after some years, you see some cracks. That's why you observe some cracks. You see the windows collapsing here, everything. You see the foundation going down on one side or the other. That is the reason, because they don't contact professionals.
So what you are saying now is that it is very necessary. It
is necessary to construct a correction. Everything is not money. There are some services which we professionals we offered free of charge. You can say, okay, you as an investor, you want to build 5-story building on this place, please. It is not advisable you build 5. Why not retain 4? You can be, okay, 4 stories is okay because of building collapse, because of cracks and other things, because of the substructure of the land. So we advise you. So it doesn't cost you anything. It may be just only transport fare. So it is not everything that we collect money.
That's good. Yes, these days we see that so many people have turned themselves to be surveyors. So many people, they will tell you that they are professionals in your field. Take for example, our colleagues, let me put it that way, the lawyers.
Yes.
They always involve in anything that has to do with estates, businesses, something like that, like, taking the work of surveyors. are you people together? Are you working together?
Well, I would say we are working together indirectly and directly, in the sense that when we want to make an agreement, we involve lawyers. That's why they got to know the knowledge about our profession. The difference is that if you are a professor in law, professor in English, professor in sociology, once you don't read the estate management, you are a quack. That's what it, and the law regarded them as quack. Even the amended law of 2007 Cap 103 regarded them as quacks. They are quacks. They are only trying to intrude into the profession. It's not the area of specialization. A lawyer is supposed to go to court. It's not supposed to be building. What knowledge has he gotten on the construction? Nothing. He doesn't know the quantity of cement. He doesn't know about the blocks. He doesn't know anything about the measurement. So they are just only trying to intrude. That is part of the why these are one of the reasons why we are building collapse, building cracks everywhere all over the country.
Okay. So what you are saying now is that you must be a graduate of quantity surveying before you can be a professional surveyor. You must be a graduate. You must have, after being a graduate, you will be regarded as a. When you read estate management, either HND or BSc, you write test of competence. After 3 years, you write test of competence. Then after that, you go for oral interview. It is then that if you are qualified, you will be given a certificate of qualification of being a qualified professional. And in our profession, we have 3 or 4 categories of membership. We have the fellows, we have the associates, we have the probationers and graduates. We have honorary members. Let me start from the last one. The honorary membership is the one given to the Mr. Governor of Ondo State recently because of his interest in that profession. That's why. Then the associate level is after graduation, when you are qualified, when you are tested and you are tested and discovered that you are qualified to be an estate surveyor and valuer, you can practice. You must have gone through pupillage for 3 years after your graduation. Then you become an associate. Then as an associate, you start practicing. After 10 years, you apply to be a fellow. They will now be tested again whether you are qualified practically or not to be a fellow of the profession. Okay, that's beautiful. Again, sir, let's look at it this way. There are some of your boys that will always follow you to the field, at least for like almost 2 years, who do not have the knowledge of the 4 walls of the classroom. And at the end of the day, they will be so good at it. Do we call those ones surveyors too? They are not. They are quacks. They are quacks. They are just assistants in the office. They assist us to do 1 or 2 things in the office. So are you saying that going to field with you for like almost 4 or 5 years, having gone through all these experiences, you still regard them as quacks? They only have the little, or let me say, minor practical knowledge. The theoretical aspect, they don't know. The calculations, they may not understand. The calculations involved, they may not understand. You mean calculation in terms of measuring the length? When you measure the length, you go to the office to do some calculations. Okay. You look at the soil, you look at the number of blocks, you look at the number of stone, all those things that are required. So this is involves knowledge, theoretical knowledge, which we acquired at the university. Okay, but people tend to have this notion about you, not you in person, I mean your profession, that getting you to themselves, you know, to give them the peripheral aspect of what it will cost them. People tend to be scared in inviting you to assist them in building. What will you say to this, and what kind of encouragement will you give to such people? Well, I want to appeal to such people who have such idea. It's not a correct idea. Like I said earlier on, some of the professional advice we give them free of charge. When you involve us, everything is not money. There are some things which we do for you free of charge. There are some things we do for you, we negotiate. I believe people have this notion because of the level of our poverty, level of our education. In advanced country, it is not like that. We just call an expert. This is what I want, this is what I want, you pay for the professional fee, then at the end you should come and get the result of what you want. It is the level of our poverty here, the level of our education that made some people to say probably the cost is too much or they don't have the money in their purse. So everything is not money. When you want to do anything construction, you need to consult experts. Let the expert meet
advise you. Then based on the advice, you will be able to go. If it is even economical, like the one we were talking about in Lagos, Lagos now, the one you said about the building collapse. No, the whole thing, the whole money spent on it gone. Many lives lost. Then it discouraged many people to invest in the construction of a high-rise building. If that person had followed strictly professional advice and allow the professionals to supervise the project as it should be, and limited himself to the number of story buildings he wanted to build at the initial stage, what happened wouldn't that have happened?
Let's look at it critically. Let's go deeper now. What do you suggest are the major causes of building collapse?
Well, the major causes, one, covetousness. People are very covetous. Then non-following, lack of professional advice. Then disobedience to building codes. These are some of those things that are. Then using of inferior materials. These are some of the causes of substandard materials. These are the causes of a building collapse. So people are very covetous. You apply to the government that, please, I want to build 10-story building. After completing the 10-story building, we know that nobody is looking at you. You now increase it to 12 or 15. Whereas the foundation that was laid for just only 10-story building. You are now introducing another 4-story building, another 4-story building to it. The foundation may not be able to carry it. So it leads to building collapse.
Dear viewers, of course, yes, we've been having discussion with the man that is truly in charge. That is the chairman of Ondo State Institution of Estate Surveyor and Valuers, in person of Surveyor Olariwaju Filani.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. And then come to think of it, let's quickly look at the Lagos issue. Of course, we know that Ikoyi, more or less, to me, is a swampy area.
Yes.
You understand, it's a waterlogged area.
Yes.
Ikoyi as this of Lagos. And having that kind of gigantic building, do you even encourage it at all? Because we have them like that in Lagos. Do you encourage it in that kind of terrain?
Well, it is encouraged. That's why we have different types of foundation for different types of structure. If you want to build a story building, there is a type of foundation you lay for it. We call it strip foundation, just simple strip foundation. If it is a waterlogged area, we have pipe foundation, we have pad foundation, which can be laid for it. Then we start building on the structure. Depending on it, if it's 25-story building, you can build on it once you follow the number foundation level. So it's the structure, whether it's a swampy or no swampy, it can carry once you follow the normal procedure.
Okay. There is this one also that is so related. Looking at it from this angle that, of course, there are some places, they are not waterlogged, but we have a river channel beside or around the place. And when rain comes, the whole place is flooded. So what can you say concerning this? And the person, the man that built his house beside that river will think he has done it enough. And at the end of the day, erosion will just come in. What advice can you give to that kind of a person after consulting a surveyor?
Well, after consulting a surveyor, if you consult a surveyor and you are building beside a river or a canal, I mean, there is a distance, there should be a distance between your building, we call it building line. There should be a distance between your building and that canal or that drainage or the river. Then that distance, once you observe it, then and the river is not blocked. Most of the rivers are blocked along the line, or whether the river flows, they block it in the front. The river may not be able to flow very well. If it's unable to flow, it will overflow. That is one of the major reasons. Once it is built and it's approved, they know that there is a stream or a river passing by or a canal. Then the approval will be given. There should be a distance between the river or the stream and the building. So once you follow that, you will not experience any waterlogged during the rainy season. And once the river is not blocked along the way, most of our drainages, the problem we have, most of our drainages are blocked. The water find it very difficult to flow. If the river is allowed to flow, then there will be no waterlogged.
Okay. This issue of setback too. Let's look at it. Setback.
Yes.
Setback. Here you hear setback. There you hear setback. What is the essence of that setback?
The necessity of setback is to give in case if there is any like water overflowing, there should be a space between your house and the next building, your house and the roads, in case of eventually, so that government will be able to construct drainages. That is why we have setback, so that you have fresh air, the air will be able to blow or to flow into your house. Then the government will be able to construct the roads and drainage. That's why we have the setback.
Okay, that's it. So it is good to have setback.
It is good to have setback both at the front, at the back, all sides of the house. In front, particularly in the front, you have parking space. Then you will be able to construct your fence at the necessary location.
Okay, from the main road now, the setback we are talking about, what should be the meter, or what should be the length?
Yeah, it depends.
From the road?
Yeah, it depends on the type of road. We have trunk road, we have trunk B road, we have a dual carriageway. So depending on the roads. You know, some roads they are very narrow. Then the size of the roads would determine the type of setback that will be given to that person.
Okay. We really appreciate you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
You've been doing justice to some of these burning issues.
Yes.
Let me now ask this just before we round it up in this segment. What relationship is your organization having with building technologists?
Well, we are professionals. We are professionals in the built environment. We work hand in hand. Like that, if you want to construct a big building, a high-rise building, like 10-story, 20-story building, we have all the quantities of air will play their role. They will determine the quantity, the number of blocks, the number of cement that is required. The building construction professionals will be there. The estate surveyor will be there. The land surveyor will be there. The architect will be there. Then all these professionals, they will appoint somebody among the professionals who will coordinate the activities of other professionals. And that is the relationship we have. We coordinate the activities of, you know, in your own area, as the quantities of work, if you observe one thing or default, we call the consultant, the head of the consultant. You tell him this is what is happening, then you put it together, you find solution to the problems before it gets out of hand.
Okay. So what is your institution doing to curtail the activities of the quacks?
Well, what we are doing is that we've recently gone to National Assembly, that all the quacks that are involved, that are not professional, that are employed, particularly when it comes to building collapse or other things, the government should say, the senators or the legislators should make laws and find the necessary punishment for those that are involved. So that's what we are doing. That anybody caught doing any unprofessional job which can lead to loss of life, loss of property and money, then the law should take its course, and the person should be punished.
So that is before the National Assembly, right?
It's before the National Assembly. So already there is a stand law, but it's not that effective. I think the law was made something around 1950 something. So we discovered that the law is not all that effective. So now that's why we brought the law before the National Assembly, so that they can pass it on time, so whoever is involved should be punished appropriately.
So, thank you so much, sir. Lastly, when we newly started, you made mention of your institution honoring the governor of Ondo State in person of
Oluwarotimi Akeredolu. Yes. Yes.
To be part of you, to be a member. So does it now mean that the governor can start practicing the work of his surveyor?
He cannot do it. Just honorary member of the profession. He cannot do it. He only has, because of his interest and his contribution to the development of our profession. That's why we honor him with that something. He only wear it. He only wear the badge as an honorary member. He cannot practice because he has no knowledge. He's a lawyer. He has no knowledge of building construction. If we employ him, he cannot come. The only thing we can do is assuming being an honorary member and he's a lawyer, when we have agreement or any other thing, we can contact him. He will do the necessary, the needful.
Okay, that is the essence of giving him
that honor.
Okay, it's nice being with you, sir. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, sir.
We believe that when next we call on you, definitely obliged.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
It's been good, dear viewers, having Surveyor Olariwaju Filani with us, the chairman of Ondo State Institution of Estate Surveyor and Valuers. Yes, of course, yes. If there are events going on in our society, we want to assure you that we'll continue to bring before you so that we can have a lasting solution to some of those problems. It's been nice. Of course, yes, like I said, be with you. My name is Temi Topoya Adedeji. Thank you so much.